think what you're trying to ask is why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture. I think that's what you're asking.
But tell yourself, oh, cool, yeah, man.
Eventually things are gonna happen.
Woo. Welcome to another episode of Angry Black People.
Episode 7. Whoop whoop.
Yeah, God's favorite number, allegedly. But yeah, I'll go with it. I'll work with it.
So hi, it's Riah.
And hey, it's Dynamiks.
And welcome to Angry Black People. Hi everybody. I hope everybody had a good week. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. What have you been up to?
Searching for properties. It's been really cool though. Found some really cool spaces in Birmingham. You know, Birmingham's not as bad as it seems. There's actually a lot of stuff happening. It's just really hidden. And I had like this most amazing seafood curry. It was divine.
Yeah, so today, yesterday, I wanted something to eat and I saw seafood in a video on Facebook 2 days ago or so. So I went to the market yesterday and I got all the seafood and I made the seafood thingy that I saw on Facebook because I can't get to America right now to go to the restaurant. So, whoop whoop, for seafood.
Yeah, and it was really good.
Yeah, there's a picture on my Instagram if you want to see what it looks like. With some struggle plantain at the side, yeah.
Alright, so what are we getting into this week? Like, what are people talking about? So I guess everyone is still on the number one topic since 2017 has started. Actually, before 2017. Trump, yeah?
Yep. So, we're going directly into fake news then?
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to fake news. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I liked your intro. You know what? I should record you. I think you may actually have a singing voice, you know?
Not about to happen. Alright. The devil just sidetracked my entire life.
Gonna turn into Rihanna, yeah?
What? Don't gas me.
Just don't do that Nikki picture, that's all.
Oh, no, forget Nikki. I'm going to Rihanna lane. Like, what?
Okay.
Nikki can have her lane. I like Riri's lane better.
You got the accent, so, well, yeah.
Well, kinda.
I
got a Bayesian accent too, you know.
We'll get Rock City to write for you.
Oh,
Set
yeah.
yours in Angular. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Bad man thing.
Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah?
I believe in you.
Yes. Okay. So, yes, fake news. So, this week in What the Fuck America. Well, Micheal Flynn. Everybody remembers General Micheal Flynn, who Trump had the utmost support for when he was removed from his post due to his conflicts with the Russians and him having conversation with the Russians. And at the time, we thought, okay, maybe it's just Flynn and that's going to be the end of it. Unfortunately, that was not the case. So there's now a continuation where it seems like I mentioned last week, like the majority of Donald Trump's campaign staff the majority of staff around him now still has had some sort of contact or some sort of ties to Russia in some way, which raises an eyebrow. So most recently now, General Micheal Flynn decides that he wants to come out and say that he wants immunity to testify in the Russia allegations. This coming from a man who once said that if you need immunity, that means you probably have something to be guilty about.
Well, so clearly. This is like I don't know. Have you ever watched like is it Captain America? Yeah, Captain America with the whole red shield and the whole. Matter of fact, it's like Marvel.
Is it?
Yeah, so what's the enemy of Marvel that they're all fighting against?
Cobra, Hydra.
Hydra. So like Russia, Hydra is actually Russia.
I know Hydra is Russia in that show.
Oh,
but
no.
I
So
mean,
what I was trying to say, just like for me, it's like I feel like we're watching like a version of some Marvel show or something like that, like some kind of movie, because it's just, it's just so, it's ridiculous.
It's
like
surreal.
whoever's writing it right now, it's fully ridiculous.
It's absolutely surreal. This afternoon, I was watching a news article thing. Like there was this black lady on MNN.
You could never say that. You must hate that show. MSNBC. MSNBC. You know, I'm gonna put some letters of MSNBC before we start the show, so you can just look up. You're gonna get your teleprompter. Like Donald
certain things
Trump,
are not important,
so you can
like MNNBC or MSN.
MSNBC.
I think I'm dyslexic or something. I switch words around in my head all the time. It's really weird. Like I will read a word and it won't be the word at all. So I think I might be dyslexic.
You're not.
Slightly.
What happened is that your brain works too fast for the rest of your body.
But isn't that what dyslexia kind of is?
Nah, just like they literally they jumble up words. No, it's just like but you're just running ahead all the time.
Anyways.
Your brain's just running ahead too fast, man. Like, slow down. Like, think about what you're saying.
But anyways, watching this lady, and yeah, if you look at a news for long enough, like a proper news broadcast, not like the little clips, it sounds like something that would be, like, you would have been watching on a movie in the 90s. Like, when the people speak, it just sounds like things that you couldn't imagine. In the middle of the newscast, there was a Paris Hilton advert that popped up for this new carbonated water that they have, which apparently is supposed to give you the same amount of water or hydration as a cup full of water in a little cap, like a little. Well, how much is 50 milliliters of water? Is that a lot?
50 milliliters? Nah, that's a decent amount.
Okay, well, how much would this be? This is like, what, 25 milliliters of water probably would hold in that? In like...
Yeah, it could be.
So about 25 milliliters of carbonated water.
Because 1,000 milliliters is a liter.
Okay, yeah, like, so just like a little bit, like, it's literally like
Think
one of
about
them
it, a can is
capsules.
350 milliliters. It's about a little bit like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about 25, maybe even less than that milliliters.
Mm-hmm.
And that's supposed to hydrate you more than a cup of water, and it's sparkling water, apparently.
Okay.
It's just...
We're gonna dig into that because I got a couple things to say about that. But hit me with the general.
Sorry,
Flynn thing.
my apologies. I've just gone down into this.
I just want to put the blinders back on you to just bring.
My apologies. No. Sorry. No, the reason why I even got there was because, well, like I was saying, like everything from the advertisements on the screen to what the announcer is saying seems like a dystopian future. Like, this is what I would have been afraid to look at as a kid on the TV.
I get where you come from. I think what it basically is like, really, it's about trying to sell you a new, more effective way to kill yourself quicker, but feel good while doing so.
Apparently, she's doing it because there's so many plastic bottles in the bodies of animals in the water that they're trying to cut back on the use of plastic.
Yeah, well, just go back to glass. Like, there's other alternative routes. Like, seriously, like,
no,
glass
we honestly
is
have
totally
a plastic
recyclable.
problem in this world, though.
Glass is completely recyclable. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have no issues with it.
But it's more expensive.
Listen, there's so much. Okay, you know what's more expensive? Mm-hmm. You dying in a hospital. You know what's more expensive? You losing your brain cells from bisphenol A. Because you're not even supposed to put plastics in the microwave. Like, I don't want to put the tinfoil hat on, but seriously, there's like so much chemicals that, you know.
You know what you better have? Going outside and carving casting your own iron and carving your bowl of
lead pipes that are poisoning you, fluoride in the water. Okay, do we go into it? Like, seriously, like, I'm going to be standing out there in the rain, catching rainwater.
But even the rainwater is bad for you because it's polluted.
Pollution in the air. Yeah, and obviously with all of that chemtrails and stuff like that they're putting in the atmosphere. Like, okay.
Yeah, they're just trying to kill us. Like, I don't know. Like, that's it. Anyways, back to General Micheal Flynn. Yeah. So, okay. The news article read, President Donald Trump's ex-national security advisor, Micheal Flynn, wants immunity to testify on alleged Russian election meddling, his lawyer says. Robert Kellner says his client has a story to tell, but needs to guard against unfair prosecution. Congress is investigating the allegations, with one senator warning of the Kremlin propaganda on steroids.
That's warning the Kremlin propaganda on steroids. Okay. So, it's like somebody brought up like a great point. I think it was the Young Turks I was watching. And Bill Clinton was actually paid $500,000 by a Russian billionaire while he was a president.
Really?
There was like so much people that have been involved in illicit affairs and illegal activities while being president, and they haven't even been impeached or pulled up for it. Like, but Trump is such an idiot. Like, this whole Russia thing, like, is so stupid. Like, I can't defend Trump.
But the thing is that Bill Clinton seems like the type of man who would take the money, but still hold his ground.
No,
I'm just saying, Donald Trump, however, because he's acting like a child already, I feel like he might have been able to if this was the only thing, he might have been able to circumnavigate all of the problems that are being caused there. Sure. But he's got the National Security Council as well, working with the White House. This has never been heard of before in all of national security in America, ever. Has a National Security Council, which is specifically, like, those are people who are senators, and they're specifically put there so that the national intelligence agencies can have somebody to communicate to unbiasedly, bipartisan.
So they're colluding with the White House.
And no, the head of that is colluding with the White House. Yeah.
When you have a name like Nunes, of course you're colluding. Like,
how you just gonna judge man on his name though?
That name just doesn't sound legit. But seriously, there's something greater. Like, don't fall for the distraction, people. They're distracting us from things. It's like, I think they're actors on a stage right now performing the most orchestrated, see the word I almost couldn't say, orchestrated bullshit of a show. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, Trump is like retardation on steroids. Like, I have never seen anybody like fuck up at their position. It's like he's got. It's like, you got one job. Imagine that your job, right? Your job is just to simply push one single button, and the machine does everything, and he can't push that button.
We don't want him pushing any buttons. He's got.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's all it is.
Don't push
he
any buttons.
He has a whole
Donald
administration to do
don't
everything.
Don't push any buttons.
You have a whole bunch of
hide the codes, please.
You have a whole bunch of advisors to tell you what to do. Like, you literally like.
Have you seen Trump's advisory team?
Like the healthcare bill, for example. These idiots. Okay. You have all of the data in front of you, and yet still, you actually come up with a bill 10 times worse than Obamacare. And then you turn around and like, oh, well, the reason why we failed is because the Democrats didn't want to vote with us. Like, why
can we acknowledge, can everybody in the Western world acknowledge, though, America should have already had free health care. Implementing it as they're trying to implement it is stupid, because they still have insurance companies and premiums and all of that. In the UK, you have a national standardized healthcare system.
Health service,
where you pay contributions from your salary into one pot, and that covers the NHS for everybody. If you feel like you want priority service and you want better service and you can afford that, you have something called Bupa, and Bupa is and you've got other ones which are independent insurance agencies that you can pay a premium for every month independently of anything else, and then you can receive services at Bupa ran hospitals or whatever the case is, or Bupa ran doctor services.
That's not even what I'm getting at. I'm just getting at the point that Paul Ryan actually says, we didn't know that it was gonna be this hard. Like, come on, like, you Republicans have been dying.
It's that hard because they're still willing to keep it's that hard because they want the insurance companies to have power.
He didn't actually turn around and says, we didn't know, like, constructing something would be difficult. Like, what? for construction healthcare for 300
For
million
7
people.
years.
You didn't think that was going to be difficult, so you actually just threw a bill together, and then you expected that the Democrats was going to vote against their own bill to vote for yours, which was actually 10 times worse, and then you're actually disappointed. Matter of fact, how do Paul Ryan, how do people like Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, George Bush. Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't even know.
Like, how do these people actually hoodwink people to actually become?
What was a question that you actually need to ask is
how did they come into power?
How did the Republicans manage to pull the wool over Americans' eyes for 7 years, campaigning and winning office seats based on the fact that they would repeal Obamacare without having to provide any kind of comprehensive manifesto to the people that were voting for them as to how they would repeal this plan? So what type of citizens do you have in America who are willing to oppose Obamacare with no alternative, no solid alternative?
You're giving them too much credit. They didn't have wool. They pulled the actual clear plastic bag over the American people's eyes. They could see through that. Because you know what? If you look at history, the history of the Republicans is mad. The history of the Democrats is mad. But you know what? They still woke up and were like, oh, there's like, Americans are like, no, we can't see any third party alternative. No, we don't see Bernie Sanders. What's that lady called?
Jill Stein.
Yeah, we don't see Jill Stein. It's like, those people...
Had Bernie and Jill had a ticket together, I think they might have won though.
But they didn't see them. Americans didn't see them because in their minds it was like, no.
But it's the news channel's fault. It's the news channel's fault because believe it or not, a lot of Americans still spend a lot of time in front of the TV. And if all the news channels are reporting is the Democrat and the Republican parties, that is all people are going to feel like they have as an option. You find more young people, millennials, and people with internet access who know about their other options. No, it really is a mind control thing. Like,
I understand, but it's, come on, people, like, seriously, wake up and just turn off the TV, go on the internet, research and see who's actually running for presidency. Yeah? And make up your mind. Go and do your own research. Stop being lazy. Stop that Fox and MSNBC feeding you and CNN feeding you. And then they're going to turn around and cost the same candidates when they become presidents. But they're the ones who put them there. But the thing is, there's so many complicated nuances to those situations. Because you might be able to... you might be able to have a person running for presidency, and they might be able to win in their state. But then when it comes down to it, there are key states that you need to be able to win to even be considered for the office. So it's a strategy thing, and I feel like a lot of the independent candidates that were on the ticket this time, they didn't quite play towards that strategy. Neither did Hillary Clinton. They were sticking towards where liberals were. But you have to infiltrate that red country and win the swing states, because if you don't win the swing states, you can't win the election, which is what Donald Trump did over Hillary Clinton, which is what he won in the first place. I understand. No, actually, I don't understand. Because, seriously, no. Have they not learned anything from Bill Clinton, George Bush, Warhawk, Obama, Warhawk? Seriously, wow.
Well, you remember those bombs that we were speaking about?
Yeah.
I actually came across the other day a live. Have you ever seen that live of them bombing the people in different scenarios?
Oh yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, you've
seen them.
And it actually the thought process came to me that it's quite easy when you're playing Call of Duty with people's lives to drop 30,000
There's been videos of soldiers like laughing. And stuff like that while they were bombing like villages.
Like these people leave nothing on no stone unturned. Like, partner, man was almost dead crawling away, and they were like, shoot him, and I was like, wow, like it shook me because like that's a human being you're killing, like regardless to what you, and that's a human being who is under the impression that they're fighting for their country just like you are. So for you to just have this control stick in front of you and you're fighting
in an air-conditioned office.
In an air-conditioned office and say that you're fighting war where you're just taking people out like you're playing Call of Duty. I don't find that to be brave at all. And I understand that it lessens the chances of Americans dying on the battlefield. Woohoo for America. But you're invading people's countries and they're fighting you back.
if Americans were dying on the battlefield, you know what? Americans would have been holding the president or the administration to more accountability.
But can we really hold people to accountability?
Yes, you are, because the fact that they don't actually have the troops on the ground, for example, in Yemen. Yeah, Obama didn't technically declare that as a war, so he went around it. So, like you said, there's terms and conditions of war, right? These people just gone in with the drone and they're just bombing the people.
Well,
Donald Trump
is definitely walking them into Syria, though. He definitely walking them right into Syria, into war in Syria.
Who's he fighting in Syria?
I don't ever freaking know. I'm so confused.
Matter of fact, who's the enemy in Syria? Because
there's a few people in Syria. Like, I am so confused by the conflicting reports out of Syria. I am very confused by conflicting reports out of the entire Middle East. Like, we really need to leave. We need to leave these people alone. Like, these people have been over there, dealing with their own shit for like millennia. Before Trump's ancestors crawled out of caves, these people's ancestors been there dealing with them shit. I'm so confused as to how,
Nah, think about it, I really don't understand. Okay, why are they actually? So let me get this straight. So let's say, the country is what? How big is the country? Let's say that even 1 million people was on the street. What wasn't? So let's say 20, 30,000, 50,000 people was on the street against the president. That's supposed to be a democratic process.
Yeah,
you understand? So all of a sudden, it's like America is in there backing up rebels. Where did the rebels come from so quickly?
As somebody pointed out to me, America itself does not believe in the concept of actual democracy. What America is a democratic republic.
Okay, Riah. Yeah, I know that it's nothing to do with democracy. I'm just saying.
No, I understand. I'm just saying that people feel like, and even me myself, I was under the impression that America was a democracy. Because I learned that America was the purest form of democracy in the way that Montesquieu decided that, they say that Montesquieu was a father of democracy. Personally, if my research is correct, it was the Africans that kind of came up with the system. But like everything else that Greece kind of robbed everything from the Africans. Like they themselves, they didn't necessarily rob it, because they wrote it down and said that they went to Egypt and wherever else to train. They went to Timbuktu and all those places to train. So realistically, they said it themselves.
They were just the first to write it down and
write it down
and document it. But
we had a problem with writing stuff down, apparently, because we had an oral tradition.
Because our brains were very intelligent, so we could retain a lot of information. So we used to pass it down that way.
Yes,
but we did write stuff down.
We did write a lot of
things.
Pyramids. Book of the Dead.
Yes.
The Sumerian texts, everything. Okay. Anyways, we digressed. According to my English teacher, we digressed. Okay, let's get back on track. Okay. So what the fuck, America? Listen, I really do feel for y'all though, but I think Donald Trump is gonna be impeached with this whole story, because honestly, I don't think Micheal Flynn would have ever came out. Personally, from a person that says if I want immunity, that means there's something there to hide, I don't think he would have ever came out and be so public with it if he didn't have information that was damning.
I think
whether or not Donald Trump will get impeached, though, is to be seen, because at the moment Republicans have all the power and they look like they're willing to hold on to that power by any means necessary, even if that means imploding themselves as a party. Because
I think they're pulling a trick. I feel like they're pulling a trick on the American people. What's going to happen is like, okay, well, we wanted to give you all a woman. You didn't want a woman. You wanted the populist guy. So guess what? We gave you the populist guy. And now he's in there fucking up and blowing shit up. And then they say, this is why, and I'm like, oh, this is why we have to play the game. And this is why you need party politics. And this is why you need a normal politician who went to university to study to be a politician. Because look, a normal, ordinary citizen, like a businessman, they can't run this. They don't know what they're doing. And then they're going to bring in a more draconian politician who is from that school of thought
Yeah.
And then the next guy who's gonna come is going to be boom.
Y'all wait until the next Bilderberg conference when they get in that room and they decide,
Yep.
you know what, we can't have this happening again.
Yep.
And the only reason I think that this whole situation is even getting escalated as it is because Europe at the moment tied up with Brexit. I feel like if Europe was on a more united front, as in the UK was still a part of Europe and they were all turned towards America, Donald Trump would have been bullied into chill mode. He would have been bullied into chill mode, I feel like, because he will be the example as to why I feel like people will say that, or he'll be the last American president to truly have autonomy, or he'll be the last American president to be quote unquote leader of the free world or whatever the case is. Like, well, actually he isn't.
They're gonna take away them executive. Yeah, they're gonna take away them executive orders.
Obama was the last actual president because after this, I don't think that they're gonna give anybody that office other than as a ceremonial role.
Yeah, what's the three branches of thing? It's the
legislature, the judiciary, and the executive
office. So that executive office is going to be cut down to size.
I feel like the executive office is going to, particularly after he rolled back all the environmental protections and everything along the lines of that.
No, Karen, I'm just saying that. Just come to think about it. Isn't that what happened in Rome?
Yeah, kind of. They kind of took
away
the Senate. The
Senate took away the power from Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what's going to end up happening.
Was that after Commodus?
Don't ask me about
Commodus.
names.
No, Commodus made Rome. Commodus is the one that had the whole fall of Rome. He triggered that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Senate.
But then Commodus was the ass like Donald Trump. But then Commodus was what brought the Roman Senate to.
So Donald Trump is Commodus.
Yes, he is. This is the fall of an empire. You're watching it live and direct. I'm telling you. This is the fall of the rise of Europe is next. After Europe deal with the UK, it's gonna be Europe for international policy.
And let's get into that. Actually, let's get into that. Let's get into that.
Let's get into that. Okay, so
stop, because it doesn't make sense to go and break up to go into the New York Rikers Island thing.
It's okay.
If you went strongly into Brexit, you would just have a thing.
Yeah, it flows. It's fine. Wait, hold on. Let me just move it down then.
You don't really have to.
Actually, okay, let's just...
Okay, so let's get into that. So Article 50 has been triggered, yeah?
Yep, Article 50 triggered. The UK delivered the letter to Donald Tusk, and the proceedings have started. Listen... Theresa May in this letter, the minute I read the Brexit letter, I said to myself, or the minute I read the Article 50 letter, I said to myself, Theresa May is playing a dangerous game here because she's silently threatening to use the UK's prowess in security as leverage for EU trade talks. That's what it looked like when I read the letter. I said that to Dynamiks, and not 2-3 hours later, the first news story ring in where they were saying that Europe called Westminster to clarify, and Theresa May kind of had to back off and say, no, that's not what I meant. I was actually speaking about us continuing to protect and continuing with the security. It wasn't a threat. So she basically had to call her own bluff. That was the first loss of the day for her. Second loss of the day for her was in the Brexit letter. She specifically wanted to have parallel talks. Now, parallel talks means that she wanted to discuss the breakup, so the unwinding of all the EU law from in the UK and paying her bill and them figuring out how much is going to be owed and all of that stuff. But what she also wanted to do was simultaneously work out trade deals running parallel to that, so that by the time the 2 years is up, they had everything in order to leave. So I don't know how Theresa May thought that this is political suicide. Like, it is, because first of all, nobody voted for Theresa May. Nobody, I understand that it's a party thing here in the UK, so you don't vote for an actual person.
Just the head of the party.
It's the head of the party. But when the head of the party, when the head of the party, was David Cameron, everybody voted because the head of the party was David Cameron. That's what they expected. They expected that in the years to come, in the next 5 years to come, David Cameron would have been the prime minister. Yeah? That's why people voted the way that they did.
I'm just so happy that I don't have to see his uncooked pasty face
he's
on TV
hidden
anymore.
He must be happy he
Seriously.
don't have to deal with Donald Trump, to be
I
honest.
hope he's in the sunshine, literally.
No, he's one of the people that cook pink in sunshine. I don't think he could go in the sun. He'd already look pink.
He just used to look like uncooked pastry.
Yeah,
like,
he just used to look, he used to
with
look like
red
raw
cheeks.
sausage.
Yeah.
Raw
He looked like one of them geisha dolls. You know the geisha with the white makeup
don't insult
and the red
geisha dolls.
cheeks.
Don't insult
sorry,
the
geisha
dolls. That man, he just looked like an uncooked sausage. He always looked like he was just sweating.
Yeah. Just looked like, nah, he was just not there.
He always looked like a blundering idiot, to
He was
be
just
honest.
not meant to be there.
So I'm not surprised that about listen, Theresa May, Brexit was a coup. It was a coup. This was a coup. She knew exactly what she was doing. She got in there exactly the way that she knew she could. It was a coup. And unfortunately, I don't see how it's going to be of political advantage for Theresa May, because at the moment, the EU 27 has said that they will have unified positions and there will be no separate negotiations between individual member states and the UK on matters pertaining to withdrawal of the UK from the Union. So there's no point in Boris or Liam or any Brexit minister going to Poland or Romania or whatever trying to win support for Brexit or whatever.
But
the
they're
case
basically
is.
saying that's basically a threat to all the other countries. Like, basically say, like, we are now battening down the hatches. You sign this agreement. Like, Britain is no longer inside of the EU to bully us for you guys. Because remember that Britain used to always be vetoing this and vetoing that. So there's nobody there now to veto anything.
They don't have a seat at the table anymore. Like,
exactly. It's going to be strict rules and strict laws from here on, because they don't want anybody else to think that they can get up, have a referendum, and escape the EU. So they're like...
Britain, believe it or not,
no.
like, no matter what they say for political niceties, because I see different opinions all the time. No matter what they say, there's political niceties, yeah? They are not going to have anything less than a hard Brexit. You can already see. Because... even today, with the parallel talks, they kind of gave a little bit and said maybe if they come to a part where the EU is satisfied, they might begin talks a little earlier than thought of, or whatever the case is. But in this case, Theresa May has absolutely no ball in her court except for the fact that the UK helps extremely well with counterterrorism in the EU. But the UK has no choice but to help with counter-terrorism in the EU, because the EU is the border for the UK. If shit goes wrong there, it will go wrong here, because immigration or whatever from there to here is very simple. Easy. So if you harm that, you're harming yourself, essentially. So they have no cards to play, and all of the rules everything is in Europe's hand. The ball is in Europe's court.
Well, I think the best option for them, honestly, is what they should have done. When the banks collapsed, right? Instead of giving money to the banks, they should have let the banks fail and allow the banks who were not part of the bullshit to thrive. And then all that money that they printed, they should have then printed it and given it to entrepreneurs, giving it to manufacturers, giving it to people who are innovators. Allow them to start building their businesses.
You're speaking about like actual governance, babes.
Yeah.
You're speaking about people doing things like for poor people.
No, like they should have invested it into the infrastructure. Like if you want to waste money, like if you want to spend money, because like
waste
I'm just joking.
on the actual people in the country.
That's in the country. You know what I mean? Like you would have a happier population, and you would actually have so like you even gave it. Say you gave it to like 50,000 people.
Bruh.
At least half of those people would have been now when Brexit would have happened, you'd have actually had people who are just now starting to turn a profit, now starting to hire people. So you'd have an economy now that would actually turn over a real economy, not a financial and services economy. Because see with the financial and services economy, like literally it can get pulled up like this. Remember was it the 1927 crash?
The Great Depression?
Yeah. Exactly.
Listen,
when Wall Street just crashed just like that and there was an instant Great Depression. This is what financial services do.
I fully expect, judging on the behavior of the government everywhere, except for Iceland and quite a few select countries, I should fully be able to expect that if my business goes under at any point in time, I should be able to go to the government and ask them for a bailout point blank. Because that's what they do for businesses. Yeah? That's what I see them doing for businesses. The government has bailed out every big
not
business.
for businesses. It's not for businesses. But
No,
for
they
the
bailed out
banks.
the insurers. They bailed out the insurers.
Related
They
to the
bailed out
banks.
the banks.
Related to the banks. It didn't
No,
bail-
but that's good enough for me. That means that from what I can see, you are bailing out businesses.
financial services. To be
Me
special.
nar care. It looks to me like you're bailing out businesses, and it doesn't matter because it's too big to fail.
100%.
What I
see where
guarantee
I
you
see where
one
you're
day,
getting
if
at.
Apple fails one day, I guarantee you that they have to bail out Apple under some next story saying, how does a business become too big to fail? How does an independent, privately ran business, independent, publicly shared business that people have shares in,
I know.
how can they not raise their capital? And they have to raise capital from the government, from taxpayers. My child now is indebted to pay for a bank that they can't even go in to open a bank account without somebody skinning up their nose at them. That's ridiculous.
Of course it is. So this is why I'm saying, like, it's very simple because they didn't do that. And guess what? Now, those banks that they're giving all of that money to, they're now jumping ship with the money.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They're going to leave?
They're leaving with the money. They're leaving with the
RBS
taxpayers'
is
money.
going to shut down. No, RBS is going to shut down because RBS is teetering and tottering. Like, Lloyd's Bank the other day, a share in Lloyd's Bank was selling at something ridiculous like 47 pence on the share or whatever. That's absolutely ridiculous if you knew that.
47
Their
pence
trading
a
position
share.
was
Wow.
20 something. Their trading position just about a year or two ago was $20 something a share. So if we were to drop down to that amount,
That's ridiculous.
that is absolutely
and
ridiculous.
that's what we're not hearing in the news.
They're teetering and tottering.
We need to buy the Financial
normal
Times,
people
yeah?
don't pay attention to this type of news because it's very complicated. No, I will not lie. The financial industry is very complicated to understand if you don't have knowledge of the financial
Of course, because
industry.
it's built on a fraud. Like one day,
Yeah,
up,
it's
the next
fraud.
day
It's
down.
confusing fraud. Like, no, seriously. Like, it's
Yeah,
just confusing
algorithms
fraud.
that are based on calculus that you can't even decipher.
Do you know the reason why they haven't prosecuted anybody in after the financial disaster of 2009 is because the algorithms, the derivatives, and everything are so complicated that they would not be able to explain it to a layman's jury. So they would have to come together with a special jury in order to do that. And as you know, that's not facilitated in our society.
Yeah, so we're saying Brexit is the cause. What, 60,000 hospitality jobs? Yeah,
Well,
loss
recruitment the
Okay,
shortage.
so Brexit is the cause. 60,000 hospitality recruitment shortage. So there'll be a shortage of 60,000 service jobs.
Yeah,
essentially.
basically. Because,
Yeah?
well, a large percentage of the hospitality industry in London, especially, is made up of European Union workers,
Okay.
mostly Polish people, to be honest.
And also like my prices are gonna start going up, innit?
Yeah, prices have to go up. Listen, from Saturday the 1st, is tomorrow the 1st? Yeah.
Yeah.
So from Saturday the 1st of April, everything from your energy bill to your dental work in the UK is going up. So you've got TV costs for something like BT Sports via a Skybox. Your bill will raise by £150 to about £18 a year. A TV license will now go up from £1.50 to $147 a year. Medical and dental costs. NHS prescriptions are going up by 20p to £8.60. Dental charges have been raised by 90p, so almost 5%. So it costs you £20.60 now to go to the dentist. The cost of the most serious treatments rises from £10.60 to £244.30.
Wow.
The water bill is going up by 2%. Means it's going to be about £395 a year. Postal costs are going up, what?
1 pence to 65p.
65p.
It was 64p before. While posting a small parcel has gone from what? £3.35 to £3.40. Yeah.
Air passenger duty has gone up 2.74% for long haul flights. Gas and electricity is going up, but that's a ever ending story. They always raising their prices, especially in the winter.
Yeah, but that's going up by almost 10%, man.
Your home phone costs gone up by about to about £30 a year. Mobile costs gone up over the different networks. And inflation altogether is now at 2.9. Mind you, last year before they announced British, our inflation was at 0%. So in the space of about 7-8 months, because it's not been a full year yet. So in the space of about 7 to 8, maybe 9 months, you could say, inflation in the UK has gone up 2.9%. And I could only expect that it will continue to rise as the cost of the pound or as the pound falls to the dollar. Yeah. So it's way more expensive now for UK companies because they don't have the same buying power. So it's great for exports in the UK because people feel comfortable buying things because the pound is worth less. But in terms of for the UK importing, it's causing serious problems. So expect everything to continue to rise.
It's always been a scandal when it comes on the exports because I think it costs, it's like a PlayStation costs like £300, $300 in the US. They will charge you £300 over here. That just doesn't make any sense.
Do you know what the thing is as well though? It's the trade deals that the UK has worked out. And how their customs tariffs are, and what their pricing is, and everything. I mean,
so you don't save any money.
No, you don't. But I don't know what's going on because Apple just had to raise the price of all this shit here, just to compensate for them losing. So what? And now you make it even harder.
Apple lose?
I used to work in imports and exports, making it even harder. It was so much easier for you to get stuff in the EU at a cheaper price in euro and have it shipped here, and it wasn't no custom problems or nothing like that. No, you can't do that because you're gonna have a long process where you have to clear it and everything along the lines of that. Go do customs, and it's gonna be vice versa. So,
man. Let me go to something that's gonna make me smile.
Hold on. We got some more news. I just want to say congratulations to the city of New York and the mayor. What's his name? Bill de Blasio. Dude with the black wife and half black kids. Congrats to you, sir. I am very happy to see you closing Rikers Island prison finally after years of complaints. Numerous amounts of my brothers and sisters. Well, is it a female prison? I don't think it's a female prison. But I know numerous amount of black men have suffered at the hands of Rikers Island.
100%.
There was recently the movie about the kid who came out from Rikers Island after being held there. And he wasn't even guilty. He was held there for a long time. I think it was a period of about 24 months or something like that. Wow. And he ended up committing suicide because they picked on him and beat him up and everything along the lines of that.
Yeah, what kind of life was that for that kid, man?
And he was innocent. And yeah, like when you have to spend time in a place that makes you devoid of your humanity to the point where you come back outside and to live in a normal way. Jail is supposed to rehabilitate the people who are in there for short periods of time. It's supposed to be able to make them better people to go back into society.
Not a worse citizen.
You're not supposed to throw people in there and then let them back out more vicious. It's a training ground for people to come back out and be mad at the world.
Yeah, but jail is that catch-22 because you go in there and then you get trained. The purpose is allow you to get trained by a hardened criminal. So say you went in for a petty crime, now you're coming back out now thinking to do harder crimes. Then you go to get locked in for more time, and that's more slave labor for them.
When you have a prison record, you can't rent a house. You can't rent a house. You can't get a proper job. There's a lot of things that are put as barriers in the way of people who are on probation or people who have came out of prison. So then for you to have people in an environment where they're not being rehabilitated properly, and then they come back out on the streets and there's no facilities to facilitate the appropriate rehabilitation there, and there's nothing put in place as a blanket layer in society for these people. Like, and this is not it's not a problem that can't be solved, because in Norway and in other what do you call those places, Scandinavian countries,
Ireland, Sweden,
they have systems where they fully rehabilitate to the point where they're closing down prisons. And on that note, on closing down prisons, Mississippi jails are losing inmates, and the local officials are devastated by the loss of revenue. I've been telling you, this prison industrial complex puts money in the hands of these police officers, these judges, the prison companies. It's a big scam running from the top to the bottom of Washington.
I bet your mainstream media don't talk about this.
Probably not. They're not.
I bet you they don't
covering
talk about this.
And another thing they probably won't be talking to you about is the fact that people like Google and Yahoo and
invested.
whoever else that you use as your search engine provider now have the rights to go ahead and sell your search history to companies for marketing purposes or whatever else. In case anybody doesn't know, this world is just one big old advertisement. Like everything that you have right now is the result of some sort of subliminal advertisement in your mind, causing you to want that thing.
Work for more money to buy more shit.
Yep.
Go broke, work for more money to buy more shit, and let the cycle continue over and over and over.
Even when you're broke,
again.
they're sending you credit cards to get shit
And get more debt. You know what to spend your money on? When you're young, spend your money on traveling.
Yes.
Like, spend your money on traveling. Travel the world, experience things, learn, interact with cultures. You understand? See things for yourself. Expand your mind. And you know what? That money that you spend, even if it's thousands, it will make you a better human being in life. Just buying PlayStations and Xboxes and the latest phones
bag
and all
and
that
them pair of
stuff.
Jordans not gonna make you feel good in a couple of years, but traveling will enhance your spirit. It will enhance your soul.
You've never left the hood, but you spent what, tens of thousands on
How
junk?
the fuck you don't have a passport, but you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars or pounds or whatever on bullshit when you could be enjoying life and
Seriously.
broadening your horizons and broadening the horizons of the people around you.
I know some people who don't even go on holiday, but yet they will spend £300 in a club, £400 in a club, popping champagne,
And that's
they've
a
never
flight?
seen the world. That's a holiday.
That's a holiday.
discount holiday.
That's a discount holiday.
Yeah.
For a couple of days. So, like...
So you could get £300 could get you net your week.
Anyways, listen, privacy is under attack both in the US and the UK. In the UK, they done with their Snoopers charter. Did they pass the Snoopers charter?
Yeah, they passed the Snoopers
Okay,
charter
so the Snoopers
fully.
charter is passed. So the UK already way light years ahead of America in terms of snooping into your private business.
I'm sure Westminster is probably listening to us. I'm sure the MI5, MI6 is probably
MI5,
listening to you.
MI6, big up yourself, yeah? Let me just let you know, yeah? I'm not a terrorist.
They were mad at WhatsApp the other day because they have end-to-end encryption. But I'm sure
I
they
like
have.
WhatsApp style though, because WhatsApp is answering them like, y'all don't have the technical capabilities to understand what it takes to end the end-to-end encryption. We can't just do it. They could, but they're telling them that they can't.
But the thing is, like, Google has given them the back door to so much shit. Facebook has given them back doors. Like, Facebook has come out and given them the back door. But Facebook owns WhatsApp. So I'm sure in time that you hear it just come out that they had to end up giving it to them. And that's the thing. Like, these companies, the tech companies, they really want to protect the people because they're people themselves who started from nothing and they built something out. But once they get bought up by the corporations, the corporations who are working with the governments, then it becomes a problem because then they start leaning heavily on them, especially financially, or they could just blacklist them, blackball them from certain things and cut down on their funds and cut down on their movements, etc. And then they lean on them, and before you know it, they're having your data. So you could search for something now and it will show up on YouTube, it will show up on Facebook, it will show up every
Google
single way, it will show
AdWords
up in
is
your
absolutely
Gmail.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Listen, I implore people to look into ways to protect yourself online. Like, it might not seem imperative now, but it's gonna become the new front in the war that we are fighting in this world. It's gonna be knowledge. Like, there's a war on information, and there has been a war on information for a very long time. And these people are really trying hard to give you the view of the world that they want you to see, because anything else shatters the matrix and their whole money-making, greedy ass thing.
Paradigm. All their complexes. They got so much complexes.
So much.
They got the military-industrial complex.
All the arms of white supremacy, basically, because that's what it is at the end of the day. All the arms of white supremacy throughout the globe would be completely shattered if they were to break the paradigm that we are all living now, the nice little bubble that we live in.
Exactly.
Anyway, quickly before we move on to people's business, I just want to say something to Sean Spicy, yeah? Donald Trump's press secretary. Because this guy is out here just lying all the friggin' time. He's going to stand up in front of the entire press corps for the White House and is going to call on...
It's not Kellyanne Conway.
No, it's a black woman, a black reporter. And I just forgot her name. Literally just slipped out of my mind.
Okay, carry on.
I think we know what I'm talking about, though. Everybody probably knows what I'm talking about because the news has been it's been her and it's been the Congress lady Maxine Davis.
The one who
Maxine Walters. Sorry,
Bill O'Reilly said that her wig looked like
her wig looked like James Brown thing. I'm coming on to that in a minute, but Sean Spicer told the lady to stop shaking her head, basically, when she was speaking to him. But that's not what I'm concerned about. Even pussy, because women go through all sorts of bullshit in the workplace. We're gonna speak about that next week. This guy had the audacity to say that there's nothing to look at in the Russian investigations. Right there in front of her, condescendingly at that. While there are 2 investigations opened, the guy has the audacity to stand on that podium and lie. And that's all that's coming out of that White House is lies. Now to Bill O'Reilly, I don't know if you're a racist. I don't know if you're sexist. I don't know if you're misogynist. Well, actually, I do know you're misogynistic because you're a white man.
Bill O'Reilly, he's racist. He's latently racist. He's always been getting caught out a lot of the times.
But I don't know personally if he's a racist or if he just has racist thoughts at times. So I'm not going to pin him as a racist. But what I will say to Bill O'Reilly is you should be able to be, as a commentator, you should be able to take things seriously and you should be able to know when you fucked up. You realize you fucked up a little too late and you started backtracking. But you don't do those things, and especially when it comes to black women, because we already go through enough. So no, this black woman that has so much to be celebrated about her does not need you to comment on what her hair looks like. For your information, James Brown hair was fine. Absolutely fine. And so is Congresswoman Maxine Walters hair. It's absolutely fine. None of your fucking business. Like that ass. You need to talk to your president and he run away here.
But you see, what they're actually trying to do is that they want to bring you down to like the lowest point and then be petty and comment on that. So forget all of your endeavors. Forget that the fact that you were she's a senator.
Yeah. No, forget.
So forget the fact that you're a senator and you're actually speaking about a real issue. They're gonna turn and says, but she's wearing a wig. Like, what does that have to do with everything that she's saying?
And this is what black women go through on a regular basis. Black women and women in general, but I feel like black women in particular go through some microaggressions in the workplace that other people don't have to deal with. Black people get the worst when it comes to workplace treatment. And I'm coming from somebody that's worked with all black people, and I know what I felt like in that environment, to going to working with our Asians, to going to working with our white people, to a mixed office, whatever the case is. I've been everywhere you could possibly think of. And all I can say is the most comfortable I've ever felt, despite the drama or whatever, is in an office full of black people, because we just get one another. That's it. Anyways, yeah. That's how it is. That's how I feel. But that's all the time that I'm gonna give to Donald Trump this week, and Mike Spicy, and Kellyanne. I don't know. Her damn name is Conway for real. Conway. And don't think we forgot about you, Steve Bannon. I see you hiding.
Kellyanne Con. You know what I mean? So it's just like for me and Steve Bannon, who's retreated underneath his dandruff umbrella and his eczema laced.
That's not cool for people with eczema. No shade to people with eczema, but
it's not no shade. It's just that he just
looks like walking.
Like Trump has the ugliest cabinet to date. Like, where did he drag up all of these ugly people?
All right, folks, on to a segment I like to call People Business.
Yeah, I'm actually getting involved in people's business this week. I got something to say.
You got Beth the Pong?
Huh?
You got Beth the Pong?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. But go ahead. Let's hit me up. Like, what business you're getting into?
You know, I honestly, I don't have much. I've got this thing. There's this kid called XXX Tentacion. That's what he says his name is. Okay. And he's 19 years old. He just done an interview. He just came out of prison or whatever the case is. And he's done an interview and he was speaking about Drake. Now, Drake is big. Because Drake just sings the shit that I want to hear. But Lord, this little kid...
No,
he's
Party
so right.
Next Door sings the shit you want to hear, and then Drake actually just, copies it.
Okay,
covers
whatever.
It, He covers Party Next Door.
He covers
Party Next Door and
Whatever.
Weekend's greatest hits.
Shut up. That's just so mean. The dude writes his own stuff. Anyways, Drake is Bayer. So this little dude just completely he was honestly like, I couldn't argue with him. He's like, I can't fault him as a businessman. But he explained how Drake did call him and get in contact with him and told him that he would give him a call to use a song or whatever the case is. And then Tutu's More Life turns up and the song Look At Me. No, which song is it? The one with Gigs. One of the ones with Gigs.
Yeah.
And it turns out that
Drake just bit the guy's style completely.
Yeah,
He
kind
just
of bit the kid's style. The
stole
kid
the
does
guy's
like some
vibe.
distortion on his voice and with his beats or whatever the case is, and the way that he does it is, and the cadence of the tone of how he does it and how it falls in with the beat, like it's undeniable that Drake got it from somewhere because it's just not Drake doing that. Like the flow and everything, it matches exactly with the kid and how he done his. So, Drake, sweetheart, like you're original enough, you don't really need to do these things. Like I understand you want to be like an international pop star, whatever the case is, but Michael Jackson wasn't out here like jacking Diana Ross moves and shit. So you got kind of like chill with that shit. Like
Drake needs to just like, come on, like seriously, like give the young guys that shine. You know what I mean? Now once Drake has taken it now, it's like the guy's gonna be now like, oh well, some people gonna be like, well, he's stealing Drake's style. That's what some people gonna do. The Drake fans gonna be like, no. You understand?
We all know it, but people know what Drake's flow sounds like though, and it was new because when I heard it, I was like, oh, this is new for Drake as well. So it wasn't like I was there thinking like this is what Drake sounds like, and I understand artists are allowed to evolve, but when people come out with specific flows, it's very, very easy to tell that you've bitten that flow or whatever. And for you to
100%.
call yourself an innovator and not try to give the little youth credit for whatever reason it is that you didn't want to give credit for his things is very wrong of you, particularly when your ass want credit for all the shit that you to do.
You're being too nice, Drake. You are rich already. You got money already. You've hit number one many times. Stop stealing people who are trying to come up, man. Stop robbing the poor person, man. Give them a chance, man. Give the young artist a chance to shine, man. You didn't even call the guy back to say, yo, bro, nothing. You just blanked the guy and then you've turned up with the guy's style. Nah, man. Nah,
in all honesty, that's kind of like a bitch move.
Disrespectful. That's a bitch move. Yeah,
Drake
of course it's a bitch move.
Drake did acknowledge what was it going on or whatever the case is in that interview that he done on Beats Radio or whatever the case is. But I don't feel like his explanation was satisfactory enough for me, particularly after hearing what the kid had to say for himself. So I'm not particularly into XXX Tentacion's music. A little too serious.
You can't even pronounce his name, but
he can't pronounce his own damn name. But this is what the young kids like to listen to. He does make a lot of valid points. He sounds like a sensible young man. He's just not one of these misdirectioned little kids out here.
Well,
he actually
Kodak Black?
Kodak Black, surprisingly enough, as well, apparently is relatively sensible. I don't know. I don't understand.
So they're relatively sensible. They just make nonsensical music.
Well, apparently under the distortion and the
mumbling,
the mumbling and the heavy trap, where my soul type of beats. Apparently somewhere under there is actually things that now resound with the youth. Because
Lil Uzi Vert and Lil was it Yachi?
You know what it is?
No, sir.
The people that done hip hop in the 80s probably felt a type of way when Tupac and them came out with their gangster rap. So to me, it's like every innovation that's made, the people who was in the generation before, we kind of feel like we had the best quality or whatever it was.
No, it's not even that. You could understand what Tupac was saying. You can't understand. Or some of these people
but
say,
apparently these little children can.
Until I paid £200 for some headphones, I couldn't understand. Like, I was so shocked when I heard Designer on Panda. I was like, what? So I went to listen to Future. I was like, hold on, these guys actually sat down and wrote bars.
No, it did. It used to sound like a lot of money.
What's that Young Thugs track that no one couldn't find out? Couldn't understand. Because I'm going to go listen to that.
I don't know the name of the song. I don't know the name of the song.
What he's actually saying.
This is how much I don't pay attention to music anymore. I don't even know the name of the songs. I just literally hear it on my Spotify. And if it's good, I'll put the playlist to play. or save the playlist.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, this is my beef now. So Kendrick Lamar, K. Dot, dropped a new track called Humble, right? And in there he had a line saying how he hated Photoshop and he wants girls to just be natural with that natural look, and he wants to see that ass with the stretch marks. And I'm just like, yeah, that's good. So he was being body positive, because we all know that real asses got stretch marks. Like, yeah, you see in all these videos, all these Instagram models, all these fake asses that looks all perfect and whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like, a girl who naturally has a body like that, and her ass is reasonable big, or sizable big, will have some form of stretch marks. It's just
and
natural.
Cellulite. Yeah, stretch marks and cellulite are a part of life. You can try to minimize them as much as possible, but to be honest, I think my mother was one of the only females I've ever seen who did not have a stretch mark. That woman did not have a stretch mark on her body, and neither did any of my aunts. I don't understand how it was possible for them to have it done, because I've not seen it since. But none of my aunts or my mom had stretch marks.
It's caused by like either a rapid weight loss
or rapid
weight gain.
So I guess they've never had that occur. No, me on the other hand, I had stretch marks since I was like 10 years old. And at 10, I felt self-conscious about my body in a bathing suit, to the point where I would always wear skirt bathing suits because I felt self-conscious about the fact that I had stretch marks. I would always wear longer tights. I would never wear short pants and stuff like that, because I had both cellulite and stretch marks from like a young age, but I never quite understood that was part of the package. Because my hips got wide relatively quickly. Like, one day I was like this little girl in primary school with a girlish body. Mm-hmm. And then the next day I had like B-cup boobs, hips, ass,
looking like a belly dancer the next day with them hips.
Yeah, like, because it happened really. And then what happened again as well is that from primary school, I had baby fat. By the time I got to high school, baby fat was completely gone. So then there you go.
Yeah, so
again.
you had a rapid transformation. Yeah,
so it happened.
I know what I'm talking about. You know, I've studied this thing. Women is one of my favorite subjects, so I've studied this thing. I know, baby. Yeah, so okay, all right. So what I'm really saying is that, like, and then people have come out on Twitter. One people says I'm a Kendrick fan. We all know this, but I'm also not gonna make him something he's not. Said Kendrick has a rather patronizing, shallow way of looking at situations relating to women. I wish I could tell him about himself. Another woman was like, I honestly don't care for Kendrick. I like my misogyny blatant and blasting over a trap beat, not covered in a dashiki incense. So, like, people actually...
The misogynistic part, I think, that it was talking about was the fact that he bothers to even have the girl with her ass in the video, because I guess they feminists look at the whole video girl aspect as misogynistic. What I'm saying is that this has become a part. This has become a part. Wait, stop. The whole video girl story, the Instagram model story, whatever, the girl in your video, that has become a come up for so many people. That has been employing people who would otherwise be unemployable. It's giving them ways now for them to get boutiques, sell flat tummy tea.
So, and question then, are movies misogynistic?
Well, apparently they are. So, according to these people's standards,
you're reenacting a sex scene in a movie. Is misogynistic,
bruv.
No. Please, just can you answer my question?
What I'm saying to you,
exactly.
But there's a difference between you acting in a movie in a sex scene and you standing on a music video shaking your ass. There is a difference.
No, you're acting out. You're acting.
No. I can't support your viewpoint there.
No, you're part of. A music video is you having like a short acting scene.
Before the 90s, when you had BT Uncut, music videos showed people in normal lights. I have no problem. I have no problem with a music video showing people. I, however, do have a problem with half-naked girls always shaking their ass in a video. But nowadays, it's even hard for a black girl to even get in a video anyway. So there's so many.
See, I forgot that you're a feminist. Anyways, the point I'm trying to get back to is that if you're gonna really complain about that, like, to me, I don't see video.
I get where they're coming from, but I don't get it, because for the longest time we have been telling people that these bodies that you see online are not real. These bodies that you see in magazines, they're photoshopped, they're not real. It's the same concept when you see things on TV. Everything is smoothed out. It doesn't necessarily look that way in real life. Like in
photoshopping models on covers for time, all videos, of these things.
Everything.
There's been a whole bunch of body shaming going on. Girls are growing up feeling that they are not perfect.
People have makeup on their asses.
Out.
Like there's specific makeup made to cover like your cellulite and your stretch marks and stuff like that. So there and this is a part of the industry, I suppose, but you do need to give a more realistic look of what women look like, because you do have young women looking at these things and thinking that they need to have a huge ass and the smallest waist and just the perfect titties that sit upright in just the right way with the correct nipple piercing and all of that bullshit. And when you don't have that, it may make you feel like less. So it's great for people to see that. And you get these situations now where you got rise of particularly young black women because they don't have the same economic circumstances as other people. You find young black women going and getting these surgeries, and they might be bosh surgeries where you end up with things in your body that's not supposed to be there, and you end up dying or whatever the case is.
Exactly, or very, very ill.
And it's becoming an epidemic now.
Burst bombs, burst breasts, all sorts of nonsense.
Things. And then that's a further burden on the healthcare system later on. It's a further burden because it could cause cancer. There's loads of side effects that we don't know about. What's going to happen when you get older to the silicone? We've probably got the first generation of people who had silicone breast implants or whatever getting old now so that we could even understand what that does to people. So, there's that whole plastic surgery industry. It's moving rapidly in terms of the technology and what they can and can't do. However, I think the run on from it, the consequences of it are unknown, and a lot of the guinea pigs are black women for these things.
So I would say shout out to Alicia Keys for starting the no makeup movement. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar for continuing the no makeup movement and for actually showcasing and showing what a real woman normally looks like. You know what I mean? So for that, he should be celebrated. So these women who are trying to miss the whole point of what he was actually doing and moaning about the fact. Guess what? If he had actually put a normal video girl in his video that looked like how video girls look, shaking the ass, guess what? Nobody would have complained. Let me finish. Yeah. Nobody would have complained about the video at all. It would have just been like, oh, Kendrick Lamar's brought another video. The fact that he's mentioned Photoshop and he's mentioned cellulite and stuff like that, people are now up in arms for that.
But the girl in the video, they were up in arms about the fact that the girl in the video is light skin or whatever the case is. I'm so over this light and dark skin thing now. I understand where it comes from when it comes to lighter girls being put in the videos or whatever the case is, but normally them girls is lighter girls who ain't even black girls, to be honest. You get the one odd mixed race girl with her big curly hair standing somewhere out in the corner. But if the light girl who is in the start of the video, she's normally not a black girl anyway. So let's be real about this. So when you're talking about light skin, I think y'all need to be realistic and say white girls or whatever the case is. Because black girls, no matter what shade they're coming, they still experience some sort. And I think it's important for light-skinned people, yes, to acknowledge the fact that they do have a certain privilege over darker-skinned people. However, I don't think it's something that we should have as a dividing factor amongst us. I think it really should, and it might be the fault of both sides, but it's something that we need to stop doing now because it doesn't make any sense. UK and the Caribbean, I need somewhere comprehensive to get news. Not news, but just what's going on in the entertainment industry or whatever the case is. Because where is the UK shade room? Even the Caribbean got some decent places on Instagram that I could go to kind of see what's going on in different places. But where the hell is the UK shade room or the UK's Bala Lot or whatever the case is? What is that called? Can somebody give me an idea of what that is? Because I have no idea what like where I can go to. Like what's going on with who are UK celebrities? Listen, England's so dry, right?
I don't really know.
England's so friggin' dry.
Stormzy at the moment, I don't know.
Listen, this country is dry. The people
Idris
here are
Elba.
dry. Everything dry. The food dry. The weather dry. Not literally dry, but...
Stop trying to catch news, man.
Anyways, right?
Focus on your business. Stop minding people's business. And on that note, let's just say shout out to Beyonce voicing, is it Nala?
Nala for the Lion King.
Yeah.
So they're looking into Beyonce being the voice of Simba's little girlfriend, Nala. And I think she'd be perfect for the role. So I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing that. I don't think she would actually be acting on screen though. But I don't know how they're doing it. But
No, of course they don't act on screen. It's an animation.
I don't know what they're doing. Like they could have been doing like a I don't know, like a Beyonce. It's Beyonce. She can do Beyonce and the Lion King.
Riah, it's an animation. They're gonna have cartoon
I don't care.
characters.
They can have an animated Beyonce up in there doing Beyonce, okay? So everybody, moving into what's on your mind. And today we have a special guest in here just for this period. His name is Adrian. So hi, Adrian.
Hello, guys.
Hey, what's up? You good, bro?
Yeah.
Been a long time, man. Good to see you.
Listen, been trying to get the knowledge together to come and, spit it under the show.
Yeah, this is one of the most knowledgeable brothers I've ever came across when it comes to our stuff.
Don't make a black man blush, guys. Don't make a black man blush.
He's been positive from the time we've met him, from the inception. He's been pushing a lot of black positivity, black unity, black business and togetherness, etc. So yeah, it's really good.
So tell us, what's on your mind today?
Yeah, well, what's on my mind? My mind, you guys heard of the show, the movie Get Out, right?
Yes, we haven't been to see it yet, though.
Yeah, so Samuel Jackson said something quite interesting, and I wanted to bring it to you guys to see what you thought about it. Mm-hmm. So he was talking about black British actors coming from across the pond from England, obviously, to America, mm-hmm. and taking important roles. Mm-hmm. I don't even think that the role in Get Out is quite important, to be honest. I understand his point when he came to Selma with the Martin Luther King.
Was that guy British?
Yeah, it was British. So you see, you don't even know, you can't even tell.
Yeah.
But I wanted to know what you guys thought about that. Is Pan-Africanism dead, or is it where are we going? Is it really black, or is it black where you come from? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I personally just think it's black. And especially for people in America and the Caribbean and Brazil, etc., it's just all the same slave ships that transported all of us from West Africa over here. So we are all Negroes. So we all look the same.
It's like that light skin, dark skin argument where you're distinguishing yourself from other people that look like you. But realistically, the only difference is where you're from. Not even necessarily where you're from. It's where you were born. So I feel like having a nationalistic view of the world is great, for the Olympics and stuff, where you can be like, yay, my country, and stuff, and everybody loves to feel that pride, etc.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to real life, the people in your country don't like you. Mm-hmm. They're putting their foot on your neck on a regular basis. So.
Facts.
And it's happening to people that look like you all over the world. So we are one nation of people. Mm-hmm. We are one nation of black people,
especially West Africans, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And what's important about that, right? It's although we are talking about it from an African American point of view, mm-hmm. it's something that we could actually bring in terms bring in regards to the Caribbean as well. Do you get what I mean? Because there's a lot of infighting.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? And I don't understand that either.
I say that on a regular basis, but I feel like it's part of the British fault. Not the British, but the colonies over there's fault. Because when this independence and stuff came up, or whatever the case is, they already was pitting different islands against one another.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, for example, Trinidad has oil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's no reason why oil in the Caribbean should be costly for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We managed to get together the Eastern Caribbean, the Eastern Caribbean community or whatever the case is. The bigger countries, you've got CARICOM, where most countries in the Caribbean are part of it. So you've got these trading blocks. You've even got the CARICOM passport. But at the moment, you've got Trinidad, Barbados, and Jamaica beefing with one another.
Yeah, they are.
How that happens, and unfortunately, it is white supremacy because Barbadian people and Trinidadian people look at what the perception of Jamaicans are in the media. They continue to perpetualize that in their country because there might be some Jamaicans that are bad, but they never mention the rest that are good, and there's a majority that are good. But for some reason, even when we have a crime happen and it's in our news, like the other day, this lady in St. Thomas, which is one of the U.S. Virgin Islands, she was from Anguilla, where I'm from, and she committed a crime. And all this time, she was known as a St. Thomian lady because she hasn't lived in Anguilla forever. But the minute that the newspaper was reporting her crime, all of a sudden, it's Anguillian woman arrested in St. Thomas for this. But when the achievement is good...
I get that. And this is the thing, though. Like, what we need to understand, like, we cannot look at the world or current events without viewing it through the prism of history, right? Like, what makes Jamaicans so aggressive? Why are we so aggressive? So put it in context, right? Our aggression was useful when we were all in slavery.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? The Maroons used to travel all around. Like Dottie Bookman and them ones went to Haiti.
Yeah.
Formed with the Haitians. There's this Akala. You know Akala, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He was talking about this.
Actually, hold on. This is a plug for Tariq Nasheed. 1804 is coming out soon. This is Tariq Nasheed. He's taken upon himself, done the whole thing with reenacting the whole Haitian Revolution. So look out for that.
Bookman went to Haiti and with the Haitians there, like they started the inception of the Haitian Revolution.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? The Maroons were like very instrumental in like black liberation from the get-go. So now when we are in this false sense of freedom, like people think that Jamaicans, Anguillans, you get me? They think that they run their respective countries.
I don't think Anguillians are under that impression. We quite know the governor runs the country. I think we quite know that.
Yeah.
They're giving us a false sense
they're giving you a false... they've lulled you.
sense of freedom.
But even
Africa
Jamaica,
well.
don't the governor general tend to call the shot? Like,
No, it's
like people will
supposed to
say
be
with the police, though, the governor general is...
And it's the how we are told is the parliament gets to do the laws and stuff. But the thing is, these guys they've been selling us out from time one. Like PJ Patterson sold Jamaica, the part of the Caribbean Sea that is meant to be ours. So apparently, like if you people have been telling me this from time. Like if you go out too deep as a fisherman,
you get in trouble.
You could get shut down. Like
Yeah.
America is under their right to shoot you. We've sold our airspace. I'm pretty sure of that. I'd have to double check that. But we've been selling out from time. They're getting their little money packs. So you get me. So when they retire, like for instance, PJ Patterson now, man lives in Switzerland.
Of course.
You get what I mean? He's freaking rich. And then like the people them who was involved in these gang violence because to secure votes, most of them are dead or in prison. This is what happens. We always have these coons or these sellouts from day one. You get me? From the plantations, man's been like, oh, yo, listen, I'm going to burn down the plantation house. And then you have a little man be like, yo, massa, listen. Man,
they're going to burn down the plantation.
You get what I mean? Like, we've always had that. So this is the thing that I found so troubling with what Samuel Jackson said, right? Because Caribbeans have always had a history of taking part in the American struggle. And the American struggle, the African-American struggle is one of the most celebrated thing ever. It's so celebrated that, right? if you say slavery, people automatically talk about
African Americans.
the Deep South.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? But like historically, and if we're gonna go by facts, Brazil and the Caribbean had far worse conditions. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Right now, the Brazilians are suffering now in silence, and nobody don't talk about them.
Americans out here complaining about police brutality, which they have an absolute right to do. And you
Yeah.
know what? It is wrong. British people complaining about it as well. It is wrong. But Brazilians are out here literally dying in hundreds every day in favelas. The police are killing hundreds of people. Not hundreds of people. Hundreds of black people. This is news. This is in Brazil. You can find it on Brazilian newspaper. But because I feel like a lot of us speak English, and Brazil is Portuguese,
But
there's
it's
gap there.
But we are guilty of something. Like, yo, fight. Listen, I'm like one of those rebellious slaves. I love the notion of rebellion. I've loved the notion of standing up for who you are and for what you believe in and for your kids, your future, and the whole of your nation, your people. But this is what I think what we are guilty of as people. Even the Caribbean, I think the Caribbeans are more guilty of this than anybody else, right? Instead of like looking at our history, right, and actually believing in what we stood for and what we fought for, Haiti, like, listen, Haiti should be celebrated.
Haitians should be. Well, you see a Haitian walk, you should kiss their foot.
I'm not going to go that far.
No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious
Not
because
gonna
the
go
way
that
y'all
far.
treat Haitians is atrocious. The way other Caribbean islands treat Haitians is absolutely atrocious, considering the contribution that Haiti has had. Haiti's owning the state it is in because of Bill Clinton and his wife and the rest of the Americans when they went there and they did what they did.
Actually, even before that,
Haiti-
the fact that Haiti had to actually pay.
Yeah, but that's
France
the problem.
for
That's
their
the problem.
reparations, for their
But
freedom.
that's the problem, though. The man them win.
That's
They win
the
the battle.
economy. Yeah.
And still have to pay.
But there were no backup.
Yeah.
But there were no backup to back up the man them. Because what happened is, this is what white people do, and everybody around, they don't look at history. They don't see it. What happened was, after Haiti, right, won, right, and when the white man look at it and go, remember that England hated France, and they didn't like each other, and America. But when Haiti, a black nation, won, they all said, "You know what, fam? Let's calm down. Let's
chill. Let's not go to war with France for this.
Let's go and bust." Like, so they went there and they bullied Haiti, and they be like, "Yo, America, England will roll with France, fam. What are you doing?"
Exactly.
And Haiti had to give up, and then Haiti had to. It's just recently like Haiti
Stop paying
it.
And France should definitely give them back that money.
Yeah, but that's we all like. Listen,
This is how white supremacy works.
Go into any black man from the Caribbean and who was slaves in Liverpool should walk into London and take anything they want, because all of London belongs to us everywhere.
No, the whole of England belongs to
Do you
us
get what I
because it
mean?
was built on us.
But listen, we're not even gonna go there. This is where I say we are guilty as Caribbean people, because Caribbean people have always knew they known what they've done. We fought, but to be honest, the younger
They
generations
don't.
now
Let me
don't
tell
know.
you, no, Caribbean
Because-
people are very, 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 I'm sorry, very, very, very ignorant
Yes,
when they're
they are.
ignorant.
They are.
They got people that I know that still think the war started 2017 years ago. Now, if you on that wave, hop off immediately. No, seriously.
Well, I don't want to forget this point. The point that I'm trying to make is, like, with Brazil, right? How we as people and as Caribbean people understanding, like, we're not in America. We allowed American media to come in our head and infiltrate us and make us think like pretty much American blacks. When we like celebrate like Black History Month, we celebrate American Black History Month. That's why places like blacks like in Brazil gets forgotten, because we as people, like, we're between Brazil and America. We as a people should be like, you know what, fam, like, okay, we're giving them a little shine. What about Brazil? And that's what happens. Americans, Brazil
does that as well, because Brazil's media will censor this this thing
but
as well.
like-
No, like it is absolutely almost impossible. Shaka Bars or Akala could tell you, no, not Shaka Bars, Akala could tell you this. It's almost impossible when it comes to filming and doing all of that in Brazil to even bring light to
No,
this type
but
of
that's
thing.
not even what I'm saying, though.
You're saying from the rest
From
of
the
us.
rest of us.
Okay.
So, for instance, if we know that there were slaves in Brazil, right? As a people, and we say like, yo, we've been the revolutionary, we've been trying to like stop this, and I'm not just I'm talking about the whole of the Caribbean, because us as the Caribbean, if you listen to our music, reggae, and the other things that we create, it's always a revolutionary. We always preach.
Revolutionary music.
You get me? Black first.
But
So
even-
we are the ones who should also make sure, like people like the Brazilians. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No,
like
it's fine,
the
it's
people like the Brazilians to get in, because I looked at it, bro, and I'm thinking like, when I see like the African American, I'm not here to bash them, because I understand why they think that way. Do you get what I'm trying to
But
say?
it's frustrating in
But
the same light.
it's frustrating because it stops. Like, even if you want to help, it's so hard to, because like we as the Caribbeans have always had a strong history with fighting alongside the Americans. So
Exactly, like
from
Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Garvey, Harry Belafonte, all of these people, even Malcolm X,
Yeah,
his
Malcolm X
mom was
from
Grenadian.
Grenada.
Louis
But a lot
Farrakhan.
of these people are descendants of immigrants, and a lot of the people who are in the movement now are descendants of immigrants. A lot of the people who are influential in America now
But, like,
are descendants of immigrants.
I tell you something crazy. You know the guy that Elijah Muhammad, the guy that started the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
He was a Garveyite. He was a like a Garveyite, like a man.
Yeah.
He had the whole get up and everything.
Yeah.
You know, Malcolm X's mother and father. They were
Garveyites.
both Garveyite preachers. You get what I mean? These people are even when Martin Luther King. You see, Martin Luther King went to Jamaica to go and visit Marcus Garvey's grave. And when he came back, he was on a revolutionary tear. Umar Johnson spoke about that. He was on a revolution. He didn't live long after that. So what I'm trying to say is, you can't, like, people are not looking at, when people are trying to fight with the American blacks, it's because we know that in America, America is one of the most marketed countries in
Ever.
It is
Yeah.
the most marketed
But
country.
not only America, black culture
Yeah,
is the
but
most
I'm not
marketed thing.
But that's what you would think. I'm thinking about America. Listen, the whole concept of America
Is
is a
marketing.
marketing
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's nothing like the food isn't that great, because I'm telling you, right?
No, the food is great. I'm sorry. Compared to here.
telling you,
Compared to
I'm
here.
like,
Compared to
telling you.
England.
Compared
In
to
the Caribbean,
England,
compared
the
to
food is not that
Listen.
good. Compared to the Caribbean, it's shit. But compared to
Listen.
England, it's
Compared to
great.
the Caribbean, no.
Listen, I went to America and I tasted the food. Like, the food don't taste normal.
You know what it is? It's not healthy.
Okay.
It's not healthy, but
Maybe
it is
that's what it is.
sugary and
But-
it's good. It's cooked well, but it's not healthy.
This is why I'm saying, like, it's all marketed. Do you get what I mean? But
Yeah.
like,
It's all an illusion. though.
Yeah.
yeah. But what's happened is it give black people such a platform there. You get what I mean? To, like, if you win the battle in America, you basically
Won
won the
it
battle
everywhere.
everywhere else. Although England really is the architect behind America,
They
because
are. They still
England
are.
is like Americans. The American white is basically
English
the
white.
English's kids.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's
but-
why I think every president from America has to come to England.
To kiss the
Exactly.
queen.
Yeah.
To kiss the queen.
Like, you
ring.
have to look at certain things.
Yeah.
You gotta
Look at
come
certain
kiss.
things.
The queen ain't never went to America to kiss the ring of the president, but
That's what
the president gotta come kiss the queen.
This is
the
what I'm
queen
saying.
ring.
Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. And what I'm trying to say is, like, it's so unfortunate, and it's for someone like Samuel Jackson. And what is prevalent in America that I see, and even in like, even when Akala was talking about it, like, he was talking about how Jamaicans and other Caribbeans, when they go to America, they're seen like how the Indians are seen here because they're working hard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It makes sense, because if I'm not, like, so for instance, if you're gonna make a suit,
Yeah.
your suit is not gonna fit him.
No.
Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So if I make your suit, right? Your suit is gonna fit you. So like the oppression in America is for the American blacks because it's made
suited
around
for them.
them. So if you're coming from the Caribbean, it don't look
But not even that. If you're coming from the Caribbean, I don't think people have to understand what you have to go through to even get to America from the Caribbean, or to get to England from the Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly.
The money that you have to pay, the things that you have to put up with, because people be living in people's basements, all sorts. Like the hustle that you have to be on to even try to get yourself like and especially if you're there undocumented. As well, the type of hustle that you have to try to be on just to keep yourself secured, they don't understand why these people just seem to keep their head down and do work. And on top of that, immigrants are immigrants. They can be deported, so they're not a threat. Because the minute that they fuck up, you find some bullshit to say and you kick them out.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is the thing though, like the Caribbean blacks have already put the work in. They went in there and they put their lives on line.
New York City is built by Caribbean. The Brooklyn is built by Caribbean people.
I'm not even like I don't even want to claim. Like I don't even want to claim. Like I don't want.
I'm not. Yeah, it's not a segregationist thing. It's just giving y'all facts.
Yeah, it's facts. But I don't even want to make it seem like we're trying to take the credit for that. But what I'm trying to say is, let's say they built it together and the Caribbean people have put the work in. What are you going to talk about? Like if somebody, like I was reading one of the comments on YouTube, and I know that YouTube comment is not a very good thing to go and say, you get what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say, that's one person's thought. And you know what an idea is? You can kill a person, but you can't kill the idea that he leaves behind. And what they're saying is, docile blacks come across from England and Caribbean, and the white man used them to
Caribbean people have never been docile. I don't know what.
I don't know. We might be ignorant. We might be slightly
docile. Never.
They might be ignorant in certain ways, and they might be a little iffy. But docile is not one of the words that you use to describe Caribbean.
I think, for me personally, American blacks, unfortunately, they are the most lost. In terms of like the culture and in terms of like how they...
But that's not... But it's not even that they're lost, you know. You know what the problem is? The problem is the American blacks are like their counterparts, the American whites. They believe in this thing called manifest destiny. They actually believe in America before they believe in
they believe in America. The American dream. Like, they've been programmed.
They've been programmed with the American dream.
One of the things that they say is they say and it's like, this is the thing, that's why I can't even bash them, because I know where it's coming from. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing, like, we have our crosses to bear. We have our vices too. Like, Jamaicans are freaking ignorant as frig. You see, as soon as somebody goes, well, like, we could be on, like, yo, let's get along. As somebody goes, you know what? Jamaicans, we have to talk about Jamaica. We're not jealous. That's how we are.
Well, I just saw some Jamaican women cussing out somebody for saying something about Jamaicans. It wasn't even something that was bad. It was literally the person. I wish I could have remember what the statement was, but I was thinking to myself, why y'all here cussing this woman? She didn't say anything bad.
I think what's happened though, I think that like for me, I think white supremacy is really a religion of resources, and they've taken away all our resources. That's all that's
scraps.
All that's left now is our nationality, and that's what we're fighting over.
That's where it comes from. That's where it comes from, and it doesn't even understand that how it looks when Samuel Jackson says something like that, because it's kind of like, well, look, the white people are giving the British blacks our roles. Look at this now. Like, fam, like, do you know how weak that makes you sound? What about the big... What about the fact that... If the black British and the black Americans come together and make a pie of their own...
Make their own... Make a black Hollywood. Make a pie of your own.
What he should say is that Get Out was the first black film to gross over 100 million. That's what you should be saying. You know what I mean?
Fam,
the fact that Netflix is now opening up the way that, you know, if you're a director... Matter of fact, if you're a seasoned actor, you can now actually become a producer and start producing films and shows on Netflix.
The internet has been the best friend for black people, but it's also been the worst enemy in the same way.
The biggest problem that I find, and it's more like because American blacks are the only one who now like try to create revolutionaries anymore. Like the Caribbean stopped doing that from time.
Oh, yeah.
You get what I mean? We don't do that because we have been put into such a selfish...
CXC is the most mind-numbing thing that could possibly occur. It's based off of the British education system.
You guys have CXC too?
Yeah, the Caribbean Examination Council. That's the only thing. Let me tell you, the one thing in the Caribbean that's comprehensive amongst all the English-speaking islands, no matter what, is CXC. You are all educated on the same syllabus.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the same information, and this is all white people shit. Like, dead ass.
No,
like
100%.
And this is what I'm trying to say, though. Like, because really and truly, African Americans are the only ones that are still trying to create revolutionary figures now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like... It sounds good, but I tell you what the problem is with that, right? Like, you have Umar Johnson, you have Tariq Nasheed, you have Prolite, you have all of these other people who are trying to be in the footstep of either Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. But that's the problem, though. They don't understand the history or where the lineage
came from.
So we go from Booker T. Washington in America to Garveyism, from Garveyism to everything that's here now.
Yeah.
So like we're not even trying to take away anything and say, oh, it's no, because Marcus Garvey got
he's from
Booker T. Washington. Yeah. Even with dancehall. Dancehall is the genesis of hip hop. But what is the genesis of dancehall? The genesis of dancehall is reggae. The genesis of reggae is ska. And then you go straight to the blues and jazzes of America.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? We are connected people. Yeah. You can't look at it and be like, nobody's trying to claim anything. But you can't say Caribbeans, we're not in the struggle.
Bro, if you don't believe, listen, look at the Gullah and the Geechee people in America. They speak just like Caribbean people. Like, there was, as a matter of fact, if they kept the accurate records, you could see the circulation of slaves between the Caribbean and America. So, it's not like you're a Native American slave. Like, you're not a Native American slave. You came from somewhere.
That's why you have Turners in America. You have Turners in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
You have Wilfords,
Adams,
Crayfords, Adams, and all of these. Because these are family
Williams.
While interjecting, say is that I think what's actually happening in the Caribbean as well. Why we're so silent is that they've literally they've decimated like the manufacturing, the agricultural economies, and they've left us with tourism, and they've basically turned us into tourist destinations.
They turned us into house niggas.
They turned us into entertainers.
House niggas. They turned us into house niggas.
Look at Montego Bay, like.
You get me, fam.
Jamaicans themselves can't even go.
Can you go to Montego Bay?
We can go to Montego Bay, but the parts where we could go, we probably get smacked.
Okay.
Like, that's what I'm saying. But I'm just trying to say this, right? It's expensive to go to the parts where you guys are talking about. Exactly. And if I go there and I look a certain way, I will get the security guards will come there. Like, listen, you see in Jamaica,
your own island.
You see in Jamaica, right? If somebody tells a rumor that you have a gun and the police are coming for you, and the police are not coming for you to bring you to prison,
they're gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
Now what they have done now is they have the soldiers come and kill you. The soldiers walk in, boom, boom, kill you, drag you out in the road, and the police come for you because Interpol was on police. So now they have the soldiers doing the killings. Listen, people do not understand why when Caribbeans go to like a different country, come to England, because when Caribbeans came to England, we was proper aggressive. When we go to America, we're aggressive because this is it.
Yeah.
If we don't succeed here, we're going back to die, fam.
Exactly.
In many
cases.
Aspects. You get me?
You're right.
In many cases, you're going back looking shame because what you're saying to people is, me I go foreign, be free, me I leave, bye.
Back in the days, it was legitly a reason for someone to kill you if you call them a deportee.
Yo, it was like legit. Like people would get deported. All the time you would see some people come back home and you'd never know why they come back, and it was just silence in the community. Nobody would ever talk about why they still, like, I just used to live in America or I used to live wherever, and it's like, okay, but why you don't live there no more? And nobody never used to answer them questions, but you flat out get deported and it was something to be ashamed about. But
So what are the solutions and like?
This is the thing. This is the thing. I think, right? I think like you can't come at this issue with like a idealistic
thing, yeah.
point, like oh yeah, I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna speak and then everybody's gonna. No, we need to fix the cracks that exist between us. Like for instance, you know how powerful the Caribbean could be, because really and truly, you know, look how smart. Like I'm gonna use Jamaica as an example because I'm from there and I know there. Look how powerful for a little island that fits how many times in England, and England's also an island. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And look how powerful they are. Look, we basically influence the world in so many ways.
Every aspect.
Do you get what I mean?
100%.
Could you imagine if the rest of the Caribbean joined in and we actually we come equal to the table and we say, listen, you could be the smallest of island, you could be the biggest of island, we're one. Let's do something that can make
Together.
us great. You get what I mean? We do that now, yeah? We can show the way to these people. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And nobody can accuse us of trying to take nothing from them because we have our own.
But do you understand I want that to happen, but I don't think it would happen with this generation of leaders that we have. We have to old people in the Caribbean in particular, they just need to die. I ain't wishing that on your grandparents or your father or your mother. But I just saying, like, the ideology.
That's exactly yeah, but
No, seriously, the ideologies that they have and the way that they operate, they look at these white people as a great hope. So any organization like that they form, they will have to include these international trade organizations and everybody to try to police it. Like, dead ass. Like,
and the thing is, right, I think, though, that I disagree with you. I tell you why I disagree with you.
Why?
Because you can have somebody like Vibes Cartel, yeah, that, and Movado, that starts the Gully and Gaza or something, yeah? And like in 2008, 2009, I was on the bus in England, in Birmingham.
And you heard somebody say, Gully?
I heard a white kid, a girl, 12 years old, and I'm like singing a Vibes Cartel I've never heard ever in my life. And I'm like, that's when I looked at it and I'm like, yo, really and truly, black people are amazing, you know. Vibes Cartel could never think that his music would be in a 12-year-old girl's phone, white girl's phone.
Yeah.
And she's singing everything. That's what I'm trying to say, the power that we have. Because look,
but then it would have to be a populist movement.
Exactly,
it wouldn't be a political movement. It would have to be a populist movement.
It's a trend. And I tell you this right now, yeah. You see, if we get our artists to start singing about these things and thinking about these things, you will see that we'll have change. That's why music is so important.
But
because
the people that can do that is people like Chronics and them who doing reggae. But what I feel with Rasta, sorry Rasta, I love Rasta, you know. But Rasta too peaceful. Are you singing about the badness? Are you singing about the revolution? But there's no effort to put a puppet behind it.
It's not about peaceful, you know. You know what I find with Rastas now, and I really do. They have this thing because they do reggae. Yeah. They turn their nose up at the flipping dancehall artists, and you can't do that because what happens is, you ever hear this? I don't know if it's a scripture, but my parents always be talking about it. The stone that the builder refused will become the cornerstone. Yeah. And that's what's happened in Jamaica. Dancehall, people have looked at dancehall and skinned their nose up at dancehall for so long. Now it's
what you're known for.
It's the thing. You get what I'm trying to say? It's the same thing everywhere. Like, everywhere you go, like.
But the thing with music and stuff like that, there's always progression. I mean, reggae was there, dancehall was there, this new type of dancehall. I call it alternative dancehall because I don't know what I'm doing. But the problem with us is that we're so creative that every generation comes out with their own thing. So and then we leave whatever else it is behind.
The problem is, it's not even. You can come with any like shell. So, for instance, if I have a phone, like. And I package it differently. So, like, instead of white, I use blue screen and shit like that. The phone still exists. The thing inside there. It still exists, The problem is, it's what is in our youth's head.
Head.
Back in the day when Rasta, like, you know why reggae was also, wait, listen to Peter Touch. If you want to hear, you people think that Bob Marley was
Peter Tosh.
Peter Touch was Peter Touch was on one. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's the thing that these guys, when they're smoking their weed, they would talk about like, yo, them Babylon a try hold on, man. You get me? Look on what they might do to Africa. Some of the stuff that you hear in Peter Touch's song, you're like flipping neck. Did they have these books?
Yeah.
Back then for them to be reading this, and how do they know? And these people have never, they weren't going to schools or nothing. They learned this in the ghettos of Jamaica. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Passed on.
But it's talking, and this is the problem that we don't do anymore either. We don't talk to our elders. We don't talk to us either.
Our elders have a problem, and Umar Johnson was talking about this, and this is one of the reasons why one of the points I agreed with him on. Like, I'm not a fan of the whole Prince of Pan-Africanism.
Is that what he calls himself?
Yeah, I think it's a bit. You get what I'm saying?
Much.
You get me? You get me? So, like, one of the things he was saying is, like, black people, and you hear about the Willie Lynch thing. We don't know if it was real or not, but
apparently the letter wasn't real. But you don't need a letter for you to know that that's what's up.
So one of the things that they did, they put the oldest male slave against a younger male slave, right? So what's happened now? If you notice, look at America. We'll use America as an example. Look at Al Sharpton. Look at Jesse Jackson and all of them old Negroes, right? Who are their apprentice? Who are they bringing? Who is the new generation?
They're not bringing in as much.
You get me? There's nobody,
and
like,
they're all coons as well.
Because they want to control the resources that the master is giving them off the table, the crumbs.
Yeah.
And listen, this is what happens. Look at why people in, like, I think I'm a firm believer in. Look, I'm not gonna call them the enemy. I'm not gonna call them the enemy. I'm talking the direct competition, right? Because that's what it is. It's direct competition.
I'm sorry, I will call them the enemy because it's like you don't have to even be.
But you don't have to see. The reason why we want some of them to, the ones who have open mind, to listen to this. You get me?
I do. And if you're open minded, you shouldn't feel offended because them white people is your enemy too.
That's why I'm gonna say
the white supremacists.
I'm gonna say they're the competition because we've always, from slavery, there's been a war. They attacked West Africa, and then we didn't unite. The tribes didn't unite, and now we're at war, and we're still at war. We're prisoners of war, if in any way you look at it. So I tell you this now, right? The situation is you have to study the competition if you want to surpass them. So I tell you this now. Look at white people. And look what they do. And Indians, look at what Indians do. When an Indian man starts a business, or a white man starts a business, when he turns 50 to 56, he starts thinking about retirement. He teaches his son, he trains him how to do what needs to be done. He makes everything sorted, and then he give the son the business, and then the son move on.
Family generational work.
This is what happens with white culture. You get what I mean? Look at Fox. You get me? Bill O'Reilly will soon find his. You get what I mean? Look at CNN. Larry King. Larry King was requested. He was. Larry King was talking about giving it to Ryan Seacrest. He would want Ryan Seacrest to handle his show. This is what I'm trying to say. They're always trying to move on, because once you reach 30 as a male, no, not 30, once you reach over, because between 20 and 45 to 50, that's when you are at your prime as a male. You get me? You can talk to the older generation and the younger generation because you're in that age group. But once you reach 50, 60, the natural fight, you don't produce the same amount of testosterone. The natural fight in you, you're so... like, if you notice, when there's going to be a riot, the young youth, them are like, yo, fam, I'm not ready to light this shit on fire. You see...
The old man just stand there.
What's his name? Al Sharpton come in.
With a slow little walk.
Yeah.
Listen, we won't take this anywhere. We'll march tomorrow. Fam. Like, they just met one of us. Like, what are you talking about? Listen, guys, I'm not saying that we should go riot today, because Nothing ain't happened today, but what I'm trying to say is, look at history, look what happens.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it happens that way. Like, it's not a coincidence. You get what I'm trying to say?
And another thing I would add, though, that is another tactic that we don't really look at. When they single out and select a black person to rise to the top, they do something what they do. So like a black person rising in a position, like an athlete, they will pay them a lot of money, so then they become part of the black elite. So they're so high up now.
They're not even bothering.
You know what? I'm not sure, and people don't even notice this year. Do you know when the Black Lives Matter movement came out? There was this youth called D-Ray or whatever his name was, and he was talking about, we're not gonna stand here no more. Where does he work now? The man is one of the top teachers in Chicago.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
You think of that's people don't understand. They don't.
So they've basically just transplanted
Listen,
him because he was going to jail and everything.
Listen, exactly.
So they just turned him into academia.
Exactly.
And this is what happens to a lot of our revolutionaries. They end up getting bought out or bribed out by academia by writing these books.
That is why,
thank you for the books,
and
though.
That is why I don't rate the Black Lives Matter movement. I have never rated it, because if you think about it, right,
funded by George
exactly.
Soros.
Y'all are funded by a criminal.
If you want to know what it is, if you want to know what something is,
No,
look
a
where it
criminal in
starts
general.
from.
And an economic hitman.
Yeah.
You get me? If you wanna find out what something is, look who you wanna know what an ideology is and what the meaning behind something is. Look where the money is coming from.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? That's why Marcus Garvey say, listen, we are a race of good for nothing. We're always looking for people to fund our own shit. Let's fund our own shit. Do you get what I'm saying?
It's $1 from each of us that was contributing to Marcus Garvey empire, or what he was doing. He managed to build the Black Star Line. He managed to start all of these businesses.
The man was
have the printing press.
So, you know, if we were able to keep all of them ships, fam, we would have been
because
mad minty
we would have been bringing in our own,
everything.
like you would have been bringing in your own stuff.
And people do not understand, like COINTELPRO was a reaction to flipping Marcus Garvey. Everybody else suffered because Marcus Garvey suffered.
Yeah.
If the American blacks had stopped Marcus Garvey from suffering, and I'm not gonna lie, the Jamaicans were, because they didn't want to listen to none of the story. When Marcus Garvey tried to start that shit in Jamaica. And they didn't want to hear nothing, because you know the circle that Marcus Garvey was around was the high yellow white caste system in the even Usain Bolt was talking about it. There's racism in Jamaica.
Yeah.
You get me? You're not allowed to move. Like, if you're a ghetto, no matter how much money you make, you're not allowed to move into certain areas. The Chinese don't allow that. The mixed race or white people don't allow that. Like, people are talking about, like, oh, you guys own your own countries. No, we don't.
We don't own anything.
And the blueprint for that, if you want to look at that blueprint, look at South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa is the blueprint for all apartheid. As a matter of fact, the island next to ours, St. Martin, they have gated communities that the indigenous black people from St. Martin can't go to, and those are French expats, Dutch expats, even Americans. They have gated communities, whole watts of beaches that locals are not even allowed to put their foot on. And if they do, they get escorted off by police. And they were trying to do the same thing in Angola, but that's not gonna work. That shit's not gonna fly. Mr. Man at Zeme Beach, this one's for you too, yeah. Zeme Beach Hotels, this one's for you, because there's a white guy in Angola who owns one of the Nunes hotel properties.
So you know why Cartel? Sorry, I'm not cutting. You know why Cartel got sent to prison as well? One of the reasons, right? Because in Jamaica, I'm not saying, you get what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't like, if you do a crime, you have to do the time. I believe so. Yeah. But like I'm not sure, because I've seen history and I understand that when people are saying people are framed, like, most of the time they're framed. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, you see in his songs. This is why people I don't rate Cartel for who he is, his bleaching, and I don't care about none of that. You see some of the stuff that he says in his songs. I didn't even understand what the man was talking about. You know, when the man was talking about Matalan, this man owns so much poor people land. Oh, Mr. Babylon. What Matalan? Matalan is this rich white guy, or I don't even know who he is, but he's some guy. I don't even know if he's white, but he sounds like a white man, or he sounds like an Asian. He owns all of the flipping land. And he's like, yo, how you have so much land? The man talk about so much different things in his song. When he talk about Madden, he said, Mr. Madden, I want to see no bright light. There's two, like, are the most well-known, like, funeral homes in Jamaica.
Yeah.
That was, because even in Chronic, I think in Chronic song, you ever hear about, do you for the love, man, or do you for the likes? You ever know that's true? But I can't know if he said this, I would be very impressed. The man said, when you know, say, Undertaker, the control dancer. If that's what he said, that is one of the craziest bars ever. Because when you're talking about shooting down man, you're making it, you're desensitizing kids to be able to shoot somebody in the head. That's a dangerous thing. The man said Undertaker.
And the only people making money from death, by the way, is the funeral home. Them is the only people who actually want people to
Jamaica,
die. Funeral home and hospital.
You know, there's some black man, that black people that try a thing in Hanover, and like it's so bad. Yes, as the body drop on the floor, they're racing each other to go and collect the body. That's how it is. That's how bad it is in Jamaica now. But Jamaica is like, if you open a funeral home in Jamaica, boy, you're rich. Man are jumping through windows like they're flipping Rambo, killing off a whole 9 family, like mass shooting. And the thing with Jamaica is, once somebody do it, another man's trying to better them, because these men are lost. These men are eating raw chicken and flipping, saying, "Oh, man, heartless." Man, this and that.
What?
That's how far these men have gone. Their mind has gone fucked. They've done. They got nothing to live for.
And this is directly. You have to give people something.
Talk about your doctor.
Zemi Beach. Let me just. I just want to say, I wish I could remember his name, but Zemi Beach Hotels on the island of Anguilla. I've been understanding that the owner is a very racist man. Now, I don't care who you are. You don't come to Anguilla and you don't try to stop Anguillan people from... You don't come to Anguilla and try to stop Anguillan people from going to the beach, from going to your property, or wherever they want to go. Because Anguilla, like any Anguillan will tell you, belongs to Anguillans. So you can happily pack your hotel up and take your ass back to where you come from. Like, nobody cares. Like, there'll be somebody else to come there to fill your place. Like, dead serious. That's what's on my mind today.
And on that note, we say thanks for having me.
Yeah, but before I go, I would like to part with this, right?
Yeah.
Black people as a whole need to give Haiti and the black Brazilians a little bit more shine, man. They're suffering, and they suffer because they're in the fight. Like, you have to understand, this was a war from the inception of it.
You're in a war that you don't know that you're in. That's a problem.
I mean? And they've made the sacrifices, and the Brazilians are suffering, and nobody's talking to them. Just because they can't speak English doesn't mean that they should suffer, bro. Like, listen, not because they show on Brazilian TV some light-skinned chick with long hair.
60% of Brazil's population is black as you, not black.
That's not. You get what I'm saying? That's not. You get me? So that's what I want to say. Like, these are two people who don't get the same level of respect when it comes to, and the Caribbean in general, they don't really, I don't know the history of slavery and what, like,
they brushed over it in your history textbook a little bit, but know.
Like, a lot of heroes, like in Jamaica, Taki, and Taki was a hero, and he was in books, and then the British took over and just wiped all of the slate that we don't know about him.
They don't teach us our actual, like, the only reason that we learn about our, like, revolution, etc., and all of that is because it was bloodless. I think if it was like a bloodshed vibe where the British had actually come in and killed people, we would never know about it.
No, but we were killing the British. That's
what. But you see,
the British,
the winners of history that rewrite it. The winners of the water rewrite
there was history. Though. If you talk the Morant Bay riot, when I think it was it Sam Sharp, or Paul Bogle or Sam Sharp? It was Sam Sharp. Sam Sharp chop up the British minister. The Morant Bay riot. You get me? And then they sent and hung so much of them. Wow. So there was bloodshed. It's just
that's what I'm saying. Y'all had bloodshed, and then the thing is that they will try to rewrite that history because they don't want it to happen again. Britain has the most blood on their hands in slavery. But the reason why the Caribbean, right, will not get their history told, because all Britain want us to know is that Lord Wilberforce stop and
slavery.
He didn't even stop. The British did not. By the way, the British did not even stop slavery because it was to win the war. It was to win the war against the French.
They got scared because of what Haiti did to flipping.
It wasn't even that. That didn't even scare them. It was literally, you know what it was doing? They outlawed slavery so that they could go to the French ships that was coming from Africa and pillage and plunder them. Exactly. And so it was another defense for the war.
Had slavery going.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
So it wasn't even a situation where Wilberforce might have been for all the heart and intent wanted it to be done. But in my opinion, and yes, there were abolitionists here. So yeah, okay, you had some good people. I don't give people ratings for being human beings.
I'm sorry, they didn't even come across as in like, yo, I want to abolish slavery because slaves are this. No, they still even thought that black people were inferior to them, even the abolitionists.
Yeah,
one abolitionist that needs to get his props was this guy, something, was it John Brown from when he actually went with some slave to start a rebellion in America, and they caught him, they hang him. It was a white man. I can't remember. I don't know if I got his name right, but look him up.
Oh, and by the way, the Jews would like you to think that they had nothing to do with this, but the ships were Jewish, and they changed the name so that they could hide that on record. The wives that the slaves used to get sold on, they were Jewish people
owned. You don't even have to say that. You know
they financed it.
You know what you have to say? Every slave continent or no, every slave country, all you have to do is this: research who were the people who started it there, or who brought it there. Brought it there. I looked at Jamaicans, I looked at Brazil, I looked at Barbados, and it all led to a certain people. I'm not gonna give it away. I want you to go and research for yourself. That's what I want to say.
All right.
Anyway,
Thanks,
guys, it was nice to have you. We have to.
Bless, bro.
We have to
link up
again. You get me? All right.
Okay. I think on that note, we're gonna go to our Black Business of the Week.
Yes, Black Business of the Week. Yeah, so that was a great conversation that we just had with Adrian. Big up. Yeah, so Black Business of the Week. I would like to actually big up a local Birmingham photography team. Well, it's photography and videography and
they're now they're doing like videos, movies, short movies, films,
shorts, panels, stuff like that. And it's called Click Jones Media. And I think you can follow them on Instagram at Click Jones. And they're quite good. They've got a great portfolio of work online.
Yeah, they're quite excellent with the photos.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
photos and video quality is great.
Video quality is great as well. And also beauty lifestyle boxes for women of color as well.
That's last week's. Never mind that. Sorry.
Okay, so Black Business of the Week, Click Jones. So it's been really great talking to you guys. Yeah.
Okay, everybody. So yeah, I think that's it. Go check out Click Jones as Business of the Week. And yeah. Also, people who don't live in the UK, Can y'all like send in some credible Black businesses, like things that you've tried out, places that you've been to, and so just so that everybody can be aware of them internationally, wherever, I don't care, just send it in. And you can follow us at Angry Black People on Instagram, at Angry Black People on Facebook. To type in the Facebook search bar is actually ABP Podcast. On Twitter, it is ABP Podcast as well. Online, it's www.angryblackpeople.com. There's a mail-in form there. You can fill that in if you have any questions or if you want to write into us. I think that's the easiest way. Facebook, Instagram. We'd like to big up a listener in New York, Rashid. Thank you for listening during the blizzard, and thank you for sending in a message.
Yeah, shout out to Rashid.
Yeah, so
major props.
Big up to y'all. Enjoy your weekend and stuff. Yeah. So peace, love, and coconut oil. Until next week.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.